It's the end of April, almost the start of May, and I haven't finished the vlog for April. It's been chaos around here. We've got so much going on. Our team is scrambling to do A and B and C. Our releases are coming out fast and furious, and my life is just chaos at the moment. Apart from all of the interesting things that are going on in the industry, including releases of Llama 3 and the rise of AI agents, there are just so many things to explore and so many things to prepare to make our software the cutting edge and really good for lawyers. So one of the things that we've been trying to do this month is to slow ourselves down and really look at, are the things that we are building, are the features that we're rolling out actually helpful to lawyers? And I'm happy to say that we've decided maybe like 3 or 4 of those things are not really that useful. So we've pushed them back. And in the meantime, we're focusing on those features that will make a huge impact. So watch this space. There'll be more coming. But because life is so chaotic right now, I'm going to wrap up this vlog right here and throw straight to the interview I did back at the end of February with Julia, who is very kind to share with us her journey and what she's been doing with her company called Due. So I hope you enjoyed this interview, and I look forward to chatting to you more next month. So Julia, welcome to New York.
Thank you.
We're starting again, by the way. This is take number 3. Have you seen, years ago, there's a TV show with Jerry Seinfeld, and it's getting coffee with comedians in cars, and it's literally Jerry Seinfeld driving around grabbing coffee with other comedians. I feel like this is a little bit like that, except no cars and no comedians.
Well,
so just coffees.
One comedian.
one
At least we've got one.
at a comedian. But no, so hey, back to what we were talking about. So you gave me a very elaborate explanation of what your software does. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because as I was listening to it, my immediate thought was, okay, how would your prospect remember any of this? Like, they're going to have to go away. They're going to have to internally sell this to their organization. And if their kind of takeaway is, I met with Julia and she gave me a really elaborate explanation, it's a really hard thing to then like on-sell, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. If you can condense it down to 3 sentences, how would you describe your software?
Due is an end-to-end platform that manages the document review process and generates a due diligence report that you can share with your clients.
When you say generate, much better. Not that you need my tick of approval. I don't know if I'm qualified to give you that.
Well, it was shorter. We know
it was shorter.
It ticked that box.
You ticked the assignment. That's not an F. Again, I am not like qualified to do any of this. But you say generate a due diligence report, which makes me think in the last 12 months, you must have been using large language models. Is that part of your technical stack, or how have you found that?
Yeah, so no, we don't. We haven't used large language models to generate the report. They're all template based.
Right.
So we have a no-code template builder. So you effectively take your report templates that you would normally use, as in like the law firm would normally use, which, you know, typically just the table and some headings and that kind of thing, and then basically use that as your structure, and then the answers to the questions get inputted into the reports.
Right.
We've taken the reports further than that, so we have reports for about 50 different document types. So, you know, your review of each document can be presented in a nice summary form. We also have kind of more consolidated reports. So, for example, you could have all of your customer contracts consolidated into one report with the key provisions of each. You can do, even go even more granular than that. You can have like change of control reports. So all of your customer contracts that have change of control provisions that are triggered by this transaction. You can put all of them into one report. So the beauty of the template editor, you can kind of build whatever report you want, or you can just use our pre-written reports.
It sounds okay. So I'm curious on why you didn't put in some sort of generative element into the software, because it sounds like a perfect use case for it.
Yeah, it is, and we are. I guess is the answer to that. So that's kind of the next evolution of the product, is to have generative AI generate some of the portions of the report. So for example, like if you, so say you've got a mining acquisition and you want to summarize the mining laws in a particular jurisdiction, you could use generative AI to summarize those laws. Obviously, you would have that reviewed and checked for accuracy and correctness.
Hallucinations and so on.
Yeah, but that would be an example of that. Or, you could use question answering generative models to basically generate answers to questions, and then reference like where you got the answer to that question back to the document. So yeah, you're right. It is a really great use of generative AI, but we needed to get the foundation of the house built before we could then
put in the interior design and decorative sort of aspects.
Exactly. So it has been a little bit painstakingly slow, but we've invested a lot of time and resources into doing that, and I'm really glad that we have, because now we are able to add in those generative models to optimize some of those key parts of the overall workflow.
I think it's interesting because a lot of people outside of the technology space, they don't realize how much effort and time it takes to build one of these things.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they kind of go, well, can't you just add in that feature?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Sign a contract and we'll build it for you. And of course that takes 12 months to sign a contract. So in that whole time, you've built it.
Plus more.
Yes. But I think it's an interesting thing because there's a disparity between what people think is difficult versus what is actually difficult in terms of like building stuff. Now, as you're going through this journey of building your product, where are you now? Where do you want to take it in the next 12 months?
Yeah, so we've just launched our first version of the product. We've had we ran a private beta for 6 months of last year. So over that time, we were iterating, and we've just released the first version. The next evolution of the product, as I mentioned, is adding in large language models, specifically around question answering and generating some of those parts of the report. That's specifically what clients have asked for. So, that's all based on customer feedback. I set out on this journey to not build another tech product that didn't solve the problems of lawyers. So a lot of our product is driven by what customers tell us they want. So the next, introducing the LLMs, data room integrations. So
nice.
Integrating with where possible, the main sort of data room players.
Intralinks, etc.
Yeah, that's right. I actually had a meeting with DataSite earlier today. Shout out to them. It's that's another core feature. So basically, if you're using our platform for buy-side due diligence, you can integrate with the vendor's due diligence software, and then have those documents transferring from them to us seamlessly throughout the transaction. And then the other side of it is, I think that's it. Sorry.
And this is how you can tell these are not pre-planned. There's no script. We just kind of like wing it and do it on the fly. It's starting to get cold. So I'm going to ask you one really important question, which is what scares you the most in the next 12 months?
Ooh, that is a really good question.
Thank you. I do my best.
What scares me the most in the next 12 months? I think, ultimately we've built a product that is new to the market. It's unfamiliar to a lot of people. So I see a big part of my role educating, not in a like patronising way, but just educating people about how they can deliver their legal services. In other words, their due diligence report more, in a better way, and ultimately in a better way for their clients, which is the ultimate goal, is to deliver the best you can for your clients. I think what scares me is that, obviously the legal industry can be quite slow to adopt new technology. So it does scare me that everyone will just say, not too hard,
right?
Can't do it. We're just gonna.
There's a kind of a sail. It's not even a sailboat. It's like a big cruise ship right there.
Yes.
So
Right.
inconsiderate.
Right.
Don't they know people live?
We scheduled this, this
We
square
reserved
meter
this.
in New York.
I want to
how
speak to
dare
your
they?
manager. Oh God. Well, okay. So let me paraphrase that for you, and that I think is a common fear everybody has, which is by the time your technology is relevant to someone, it may have already become obsolete, and like the sort of burn versus adoption versus cutting edge versus obsolescence, all of that kind of interplays into this startup equation. And that's about the smartest thing I can say about it.
Yeah, I think you put it really well. Couldn't have put it better myself.
Well, I did have like an extra 20 seconds to think because of the horn that was going. So let's go somewhere warm where we can like get our frozen hands thawed out.
Yeah, let's do it. Sounds great.
And thank you for joining me on this chat.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great.